When you look at an image of a falling sidewalk, many of us would feel fear as if we're going to fall into the sidewalk. And we've seen this style of art before in many places. If you go to New York, if you go to Wynwood, or basically anywhere you travel to. But did you know that that style of art, which is called perception, isn't a new style? Donatello was one of the first to pioneer that style of art, and many artists today still mimic what Donatello has done many years ago. Hi, my name is Daniel Chavarria, and today I'll be discussing the artist Donatello. To better understand the artist Donatello, we will first discuss his early works, and then we will discuss his later works and how they evolved. So let us begin by looking at Donatello's earlier works. We will look at 3 phases of Donatello's early works. First, Donatello started sculpting at the age of 17, according to the Encyclopedia World Biography. He was working with Lorenzo Ghiberti, and they were both making bronze doors for cathedrals. 4 years later, Donatello left Ghiberti and would go on to work on his own pieces. One of them was the David. According to the Medici, Donatello created the David in 1408, destroyed it in 1416, and somewhere between, Donatello actually had to destroy it simply because many people didn't appreciate his work. However, to Donatello's surprise, Donatello actually had the David placed in the Palazzo Vecchio, a hotspot in Florence, when originally the purpose of the piece was just to be decorating a buttress. Donatello was one of the earlier known artists to use depth and perception in sculptures. 2 pieces that come to mind are the St. George and the Dragon and the Ascension. Now, during this time era, many artists would use canvases, which were flat surfaces, and would paint on it. However, what made the other 2 pieces so special were how light would hit it. For example, those 2 pieces were etched onto stone, and so when light would hit it one way, it would look different, and when light would hit it another way, it would also look different, making this piece almost impossible to get tired of. Now that we discussed Donatello's early career, let us turn our attention to his later works. First, according to the article Donatello had 2 major style changes in the last 12 years of his life. Before, in the early works, Donatello's pieces used to be beautiful, like, for example, the David. And later, like we will discuss, Donatello's work would be seen as horrible and gruesome. Donatello's older pieces used to show the great confidence in humans, but his later works would show the sufferings that humans would go through. One piece that comes to mind is the Judith and Holofernes. The Judith and Holofernes was an image of Judith slaying Holofernes, the famous Catholic Bible story, which was an image that's seen as bloody, ugly, tense, anxiety-driven, and it has some insanity driven into it. Another piece that was also different was the Mary. Now, the Mary could also be described as those things, but it was not only different by that, but it was also different because back then, David used to make his works out of stone and marble and bronze, but this one was purposely made out of wood, just so they can give it that hideous suntan look. Donatello, before he died in 1466, died leaving 2 reliefs undone for his apprentice to finish. One of them was the image of Christ being slain, which can also be described as bloody, ugly, tense, anxiety-driven, and full of insanity. Tonight we discussed the artist Donatello. We were able to look at his early works, his later works, and his impact on the Renaissance. We were also able to see that although his style changed, his focus was the same, which was about human emotions. For many of us, making this kind of art that can evoke emotions and fears seems like something that's out of our limits. But like Donatello said, take the wood and make one of your own. Thank you.